All right. Shall we get started? Shall we get started? Okay. So today is a bit of an important session. Yeah. Today is a bit of an important session. We are going to get into a bit of a deep dive on how we can get very close to 90 plus marks, right? Which means you need to score a world prize. So many of you, almost about 50 of you now have sent me your final assignment plus the Turnitin report. And I've had the first feedback session. And I hope to see many of you. There are about 300 in the class. Only 44 has joined today. So obviously priorities change. Levels of commitments have changed. And some of them are genuinely busy. But can you see we have about 310 students in class, but only 44 have joined, right? This is usually the case all the time. But about 250 students submit their work. So some of them, most of them outsource. So which is a big problem. And like I told you, CIM has identified that. So there are a lot of students who are getting penalized because of outsourced assignments, because the examiners conduct one-to-one vivas. Even last session, we had some vivas because the examiners were not sure that the students have done their work. And 100% of the viva students failed because none of them even came for the viva. None of them even came for the viva. So this is not only in the case study, across all three subjects, across all study centers in Sri Lanka. It's a big problem because many try to find the shortcut in life, right? So there is a limit that you can tell people not to do it. Beyond that, it is their life. So you can't really sort of help people when they don't want to help themselves. Okay, so please make sure you do your own work and you are genuine and you get the knowledge and you are able to transform from within. That's what matters. A paper qualification is nothing otherwise. A paper qualification means nothing otherwise. All right. So I'm encouraged to see some of your work. I'm happy that many of you have taken my advice in terms of giving me complete, comprehensive assignments so that it encourages me to give you feedback then. And I spend quite a bit of time on the phone with you during the one-to-one session. So in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we are going to continue to have our dialogue and discussion. Don't submit your work until, until the submission date. Don't be in a rush, but keep improving your assignment. There's nothing called now I've finished my assignment. Until the first day of submission, please continuously improve all your assignments. Okay, so today I want to first start with Harvard referencing, right? Let's look at Harvard referencing. Right. Now, many of you have done Harvard referencing before, but that's okay. Let me go through it again. So guys, there are three types of referencing. Fundamentally, we talk about citations, in-text citations, in-text references, and bibliography. In-text citations, in-text reference, and bibliography, right? So now, in terms of CIM, we use Harvard referencing. There's another style called APA referencing, which is very popular, and there are many other styles. So now, when the examiner looks at your work, there has to be a good variety of Harvard referencing styles used. So when you're writing your paragraphs, all of you know you have to use the surname of the author and the year of the publication. You all know that already when you look at the A-grade answers, and many of you know it. Perhaps you have done it before as well, right? So, but there are many varieties to do that. Writing citations, there are many varieties to do that. So a good academic writing means you will understand all these varieties, right? So when writing citations, you can write your citations at the end like this of a sentence, the beginning of a sentence. And this is if it's one author, right? Turner of 1999. The year is usually in brackets. You can put a comma here or omit the comma, that's fine, right? So when you have two authors, you will use both surnames, Smith and Jones, 2003, argue that. Lancaster and Massingham, 1999, at the end of a paragraph, right? So two authors, more than two authors in a book, you have to use this word et al. So you use one author or the first author, MacDonald et al. 2006, right? I hope it is clear. So there are many examples here. More than two authors. Then same author published more than one work in the same year. You publish it, you cite it like this. If more than one author is used to illustrate a point in the same sentence, you can cite it like this with some colons or semicolons. You can use quotation marks if it's a direct quote. Usually when you're writing citations, you won't write direct quotes. Usually you will understand what the author is saying and write it in your own words. But there are some times you will need a quote, direct quote. Remember, this gets plagiarized. So you can bring your plagiarism score down without using quotes. So some students who don't know Harvard referencing ask me, sir, the more references we use, citations we use, the more our AINR Turnitin score on Turnitin, the similarity index goes up. No, that is wrong. That is wrong. Only the quotation marks will get highlighted. Only quotes will get highlighted because you're writing the rest in your own words. So that's why I'm taking you through this now so that you don't have those questions. But if you are using a direct quote, you have to use quotation marks and put the page number. But if it's a longer quote that you're using, which I don't advise, but if you need to use it, the longer quote needs to go into a separate paragraph like this. If a section of the quote is omitted, you have to use some dots like this, right? If a section of the quote is omitted. Then what do you mean by secondary reference? Secondary referencing means, now let's say you are referencing my book, Marketing and Business Strategy. You're referencing my book. In my book, I have referenced Porter. So you are using Porter's theory from my book. That is called a secondary reference. That is called a secondary reference. So if you are using secondary referencing, you have to use it like this. Tellis, 1998. Tellis, 1998. Cited in Loresh et al. Cited in Loresh et al. Like this. Okay. So you give due credit to both authors. So good academic writing, Harvard referencing can be seen by examiners when you use multiple styles. Now, all citations must be referenced at the end. So you have in-text citations when you're writing and in-text references. And don't reference it by task. Put all your references at the end of the assignment. There has to be a minimum of 1.5 pages of references. If there's anything less than that, you have not used enough citations. Please take down notes. Today's session is very, very important. For the entire assignment, if you have not used at least 1.5 pages of references, that means that's an indication that you have not cited your work enough. Okay. Now, since we had many varieties of writing citations, we also have a variety of referencing, in-text referencing styles. So you use the surname, initial, date. Many of you forget to do this. Put the name of the book in italics. Edition, place of publication, publisher. So Kotler P, you don't use the first name, Philip. 2001, italicized framework for marketing management, United States, Prentice Hall. A book by 2 authors, you use the 2 names. More than 2 authors, et al. Rest is the same. Et al means and others. Et al means and others. A book by a corporate author, company. Here's how you reference it. An edited book must be ED. A chapter in a book, you need to use the page numbers. A journal article, if it's referenced, if you are using a journal article, here's how you do it. A newspaper article, which most of you don't reference. A research report, Deloitte, McKinsey, KPMG, all those are research reports and white papers. Conference proceedings, many of you don't. If it's online, then you need to put the URLs. A secondary reference that you are using. I told you, Porter, I have cited Porter in my book. So that's a secondary reference. So if you use a citation, then this is how you reference it. Co-published books, electronic sources from ebooks. When I look at your work, some of you are using electronic sources, but you're not putting the URLs. Wrong Harvard reference. E-journals, websites, reports, blogs, Twitter or X, podcasts, webinars, YouTube, emails, forum, social media sites, LinkedIn, all those are clearly mentioned here. So you now covered 2, which is the in-text citations and in-text references. So what is bibliography? Bibliography is not covered here and you don't need to use it, but I'll explain it to you. So bibliography, guys, is now sometimes if you're doing a PhD, a doctorate, so you will have in-text citations and in-text references. But you may also have some wider reading, books that you have read, right? Journals that you have read, that you have not cited. Those come under bibliography. So anything that you have in terms of wider reading that you have not cited, which means it won't be referenced, can come under in the bibliography section. So some of you are saying bibliography and using references. So understand these things properly so that there is at this level enough clarity and the examiner respects your work because you are doing everything properly. Of course, the examiner is not very strict on Harvard referencing, but one day when you do your doctorate or PhD, I mean, at CCBM now, we have over 500 doctoral students. Over 500 doctoral students. So I spend a lot of time with our doctoral students. So there is no room for error there. There is no room for error there. You can't make mistakes when you come into a PhD. But CIM, since it's a professional qualification, they're not hard and fast on referencing, but you can't get it. You can't make a mockery out of it. If you do, then you will not get an A. But examiner is not going to nitpick on your work. But one day when you do your PhD, it will be extremely nitpicked. So practice it now. Do the correct thing. Any questions on Harvard referencing? Any questions on Harvard referencing? Please unmute and ask if you have any questions. No questions. Good. Right. So let's go on to the next item for today. I want to now take you through some Turnitin report samples. And I want to please pay attention very carefully, because there are a lot of things that you need to understand about winning a world prize. Okay. Because there are some misconceptions, and also there can be sometimes little things that you can do that will bring about a huge difference in your assignment. Right? So I'm going to show you some sample Turnitin reports now. Okay. The Turnitin process is very clear. It is shared on the group. First principle on Turnitin is do not obtain a Turnitin report out from any outside source. Why? Because if you do that, your work will get self-plagiarized, because CIM has given us special access for Turnitin. It is what the examiner sees. So when you run a report, a Turnitin report, here's what you see. You see usually at the start or at the end, depends on the version of Turnitin. You see a similarity score. So the similarity index is one indication of your Turnitin, of your level of plagiarism. There are many indicators that we are looking at. Now, if you go to a doctor and you say you have a headache and persistent headache, doctor won't only ask you to do one test, no, go and do a blood test and come, no. You have to do multiple tests. Go and check your sugar, go and check your cholesterol, go and do a treadmill test. Multiple tests has to be done to ascertain as to why you have a prolonged headache. And then you come with a diagnosis. So in plagiarism, collusion, AI, there are many aspects to look at. It is not only the similarity index. That's what I'm trying to tell you today. So please pay attention. So similarity index is one indicator that the examiner looks at first. If your similarity index is very high, then your entire assignment will be looked into in suspicion. The next thing the examiner looks at is what are the percentages. Submitted to Chartered Institute of Marketing, as you can see marked in red here. And this Turnitin software is very, very powerful. Don't think it won't catch anything. It is very strong, very powerful. Last time we had one student, sorry, one set of students, 28 students from across study centers in Sri Lanka who had the same assignment. Same assignment. Same assignment was submitted by 28 students only for the case study across study centers. In other words, someone has been outsourcing the assignment to someone, and that person has basically given the same assignment with minor changes. So the paragraphs are the same. When you read it, now it can be, you can have a low score, but the paragraphs are the same. In task one, you'll have the same paragraph and you'll see 27 others having the same thing. right? So this is a huge problem. This is why we don't encourage you to outsource your work, because it costs a lot of money. And at the end of the day, you fail because someone out there, you don't know that person. It's just a telephone number. They claim to be experts. They will show you how commendations of past students. I know how this works. They'll do all that. They'll reach out to you, worry you, promise you A grades, promise you prize winners. But at the end of the day, you will fail. You will fail. So there might have been students in the past who have passed. There might have been. So maybe you are going on the recommendations of the students who have passed saying, do get this guy to do your assignment. So I don't know. I don't know. That is your life. It's not mine. I can only tell you what is right and wrong. Okay. So coming back to Turnitin, it's a very powerful software. Now, all those 28 students got a warning from CIM that if the next time they submit, if they have plagiarism or collusion or AI percentages again, they won't be able to do CIM. They won't be able to do CIM. Very simple. Right? So they'll be blacklisted from CIM. We have a blacklisted database. You go into the blacklisted database. Your student number, name goes into the blacklisted database. So don't take a risk if you are interested in doing CIM, right? So now this is a high score. Students ask me, Lewie, what is the best score? I would like you to be under 10% in your final submission. As you know, you can do multiple submissions. When you send your work to me, you have to get the first Turnitin report. Some of you get under 10% at once. Some of you get a high score, 20%. Either way is fine. I will give you feedback. But during my feedback, I will tell you, if you have got a high score, what you need to change, and you need to paraphrase the highlighted areas. Because the second time you go and get a report, how it works is, guys, second time you get a report, the first reports get deleted. But if you take it from an outside source, then it will get self-plagiarized, because when you submit your assignment to us, we have to take one with the CIM, turn it in, and it will show 100% plagiarism because you have given it to some other outside source. And it's too late. I tell you, don't do this so many times, but students go and do it because they have university, brothers, sisters, wives in universities, and they go and get it. And they fail for that simple mistake because the examiner is very clear. You can't have a very high score on similarity. And then these students try to go and get that deleted from the back end, and those universities refuse to do it, and it becomes a huge problem, and students fail. So only use CCBM exclusively for you. I think if you're doing your work genuinely, 2 reports is more than enough. First report when you get feedback, then you do multiple number of feedback sessions. Last one before you submit, get another one finished. But if your score is high, if it's above 15%, then at least get 3 to 4 reports until you bring it under 10%. But there's another thing here I must tell you. Now, some of you are happy that your assignment score similarity index is under 10% when you get it first time. You can be happy, yes, you have done hard work. But remember, the moment so many students who's doing the same case study, this is the problem with the case study, especially because case study, you get one company knowing task 1 and 2. So thousands of students across the world submit their Turnitin report on Ford for task 1 and 2. If you got 7%, by the time the submission is over, maybe it would have gone up to 12 to 15%. So if you have got 15%, maybe it would have gone to 21 to 22%. I hope you got it. Therefore, that's why I say it is safe to be under 10%. And 10% means everything. Cover pages, tasks, headings, references, audit, appendix, everything. Obviously, you will have some references and citations plagiarized. That's why you need to have 10%. Some headings might be plagiarized, but keep changing. That's why I said, don't copy my work. Be original, be authentic. Cover pages and all, you should, except for your student number, nothing should be highlighted. I have not asked you to write executive summaries, report formats, list of figures, indexes, introductions, outside the assignment. I have not asked you to do any of that. Cover pages, task one. Because all those get plagiarized and it contributes to your similarity score. Those days, there used to be an assignment cover page. You may see that in some A grades when you go to the portal. But now there is no assignment cover page that CIM has given you to fill in your details. If you look at some A grades, you might see those days there's an assignment cover page that CIM has given. Now it is not there. So straight away, your assignment cover page, task one cover page, straight away go into the tasks. Avoid using too many appendices because your plagiarism score goes up again. Okay. Now, this student is quite bad and the probability of failure is very high because it's 22%. Submitted to Chartered Institute of Marketing is 20%. That means 20% has work that has been done before. So I will fail the student and so will the examiner. Right? So will the exam. So all these executive summaries, all those are non-value adding. Please put everything in one cover page, word count, everything. Okay, so this is a bad example that I'm showing you right now. Then let's go into this. This is a good exam. This is a good exam. Let's go into another one. Sometimes you can have a very low score because you have not done any good work also. Some students put images, type long tables and put it in images because it doesn't get caught to turn it in and word count. Examiner is not stupid, guys. Okay, examiner is not AI. Examiner is a human being, okay? So when you look at your PDF, the examiner knows whether this is typed or screenshot. All right, so don't overdo that kind of thing. This is again a good assignment. Worthy of reading, worthy of passing. Again, this score might go up after everyone submits. But as you can see, 10% acceptable level. Submitted to Chartered Institute of Marketing is also there. But can you see not too many things are highlighted? So there are some areas like this that you, even in the 10%, that's why I told you. The percentage is really just the first indicator. The examiner then goes through your work. So this kind of thing also you need to paraphrase. Bring the percentage down further. Okay. But overall, you can see the student is not outsourcing, but still paraphrasing improvements can be made. Right now, see, this vision is taken from the annual report. So that is, yeah. But there are opportunities for paraphrasing, especially in that stakeholder analysis, right, area. Even these areas, you can change the wordings here and there. Of course, there's a formula, right? But this kind of analysis, you can change it to reduce the score. So you might need to get multiple reports just to see how you're improving. But that's why I'm doing this session. Okay. Let's look at another one. Now, this looks highly plagiarized work. Can you see? Highly plagiarized. Highly plagiarized. Especially the audit, you need to be very, very careful because student cut and paste my work and is highly plagiarized. You don't need to even look at the scope. Highly plagiarized work. Right? You won't pass with that kind of work. Anything under 10% is safe. 11 to 20% will be scrutinized. 21% and higher, chances of failure will be very high. Okay. So I'm just giving you some best practice. Again, can you see? Don't put these. These are not required. All of them get plagiarized. You don't need them. Again, another highly plagiarized assignment. Highly plagiarized assignment. I'll show you one last example. Again, 40% is very, very high. Okay. Any questions on Turnitin? Any questions on Turnitin? Do you have any questions on Turnitin? Before I forget, yes,
sir,
please. Yes.
Sir, some of the questions, I mean, that copy, not copy paste, like the questions that are on the brief, when I type it in, those were highlighted. Can we paraphrase the questions?
Yeah.
We don't have to put the questions.
You don't need to type the questions, no. You're writing only the headings, no. Why are you typing the questions?
No, some cases we had to type the questions. That's why in my one, most of the questions were highlighted.
No, I am telling you, you don't need to type the questions. I don't know why
Okay.
some cases you. So some cases also you don't need to type the questions.
Okay, sir.
You only need the headings because you're writing like a professional document. You're writing a report or a memo or something like that. So you don't need those questions because think about it. You are telling the examiner about the question. No, you just need to write the essence of it in your own words. Need not be
Okay.
cut and paste of the question or even what I have given you.
Okay,
That's
sir.
why you need to keep changing. But that is also, even if you do it, there is an allowance of 10% for that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And even if all your headings get highlighted and the other areas are good, the examiner will not penalize you because it's positive marking because you have not done anything wrong. So that's why, that's another thing good that you asked me this question. Let's say if all your headings are highlighted and all your references and texts are highlighted, and some of the appendices that you are using outside the audit just for analysis purposes are highlighted, and then you have a 20% score, but your tasks are all done. Again, the examiner will not fail you. Why? Positive marking. So examiner, that's why I say the score is just an indicator. After the score, the examiner goes to see what has been highlighted. So if things like your table of contents, cover pages, headings, references are highlighted, but the other areas are not highlighted, you will get the benefit of the doubt. But I'm saying don't go there also, because by any chance, when everyone submits, if some of your paragraphs are also highlighted, then you won't get the benefit of the doubt. I hope it's clear. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Definitions, someone is asking, definitions are not required. No, you're writing to the board of directors, no, Buddha. When you're writing to the board of directors of a company, you're a marketing consultant, no? You don't put definitions, right? Hey, CSR is, now in your company, if your CEO asks you to write a report on how to improve this product sales, you won't go and say, product definition is according to Kotler, you know, the name, right? So definitions are not required. What matters is the essence of the definition and how you apply it in your word in a business-like manner. That's what matters. So that won't get plagiarized. Ishan, okay? Any other questions, guys? So examiner uses positive marking. We'll look at your work and take a judgment call. So I'm giving you all the best practice on how the examiner thinks. But I am not the examiner. I am your
Excuse me,
coach.
sir.
Yes.
Those highly plagiarized assignments that you showed us, sir, the 70% and all, so they wouldn't just cut and paste it back because, or they would have taken ideas and read and got plagiarized, sir.
So there are many ways that could happen. Outsourcing is one. So when you think when you outsource one, these outsourcing people do one assignment, two assignment. No, they do 20, 30, 40. So beyond the point, they take your money and then they take the same assignment and start typing the next assignment.
Right. So if we take ideas from what you have given us as well as A grade stuff and we rewrite it, that is not
You rewrite it, then
yeah,
then
rewriting, sir.
you
Wait.
rewrite and then check. That's why now you understand why I want a Turnitin report to start feedback.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Some of you are in loggerheads with me. Louis, other lecturers don't want. Why do you want a Turnitin report? Because I'm doing the case study. No, I have only 2 months with you. I don't have 6 months. I wish I had 6 months with you with the case study. But I have only 2 months to read, analyze, write answer plans, give feedback, motivate you, get you to write. So I have a daunting task. And then since we have the same company for task 1 and 2, and many of you doing dialogue, Abans, HNB for task 3 also. So then there is your plagiarism collusion becomes a huge problem. So to answer your question, Buddha, outsourcing can be one contribution. Using the tutor's work and copying without paraphrasing can be another one. Using A grade answers, word price answers can be another one. Using AI softwares, ChatGPT and all the other solutions can be another one. There are so many. Now, I didn't show you one thing. Your final, now, many of you have got your Turnitin report. Some of you have got your Turnitin report. Now, there is also an AI score, which is an additional score. So if the AI score is high, it is not given in the Turnitin report. It is a separate score. So if the AI score is high, the office will tell you your similarity is 9%, but your AI score is 20%. You will fail. So you need to try and achieve 0 on your AI score. Not try and achieve, you have to achieve it. But it's sometimes difficult to achieve 100%, 0. Oh, sorry, not 100%. It's difficult to achieve 0 on AI. You might have 1 or 2%. Don't worry about that. But you should not have 10% on AI. So if you don't get an AI reply from the office, that means you don't have a problem. So don't worry about it. Okay? Because the system throws an AI score as well, but we don't send that to you because 99% of you don't have an AI problem. 5 of you out of this class will have AI problems. So then we will tell you, you will not pass with this. Here's your AI score. Your Turnitin might be high or low, but your AI score is there. So that is detrimental. And then you will get that score and the areas that you need to correct. Any other questions? Good. Please ask me questions.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, sir. Is it necessary to add the table of contents and abbreviation?
No, not required. Not required.
No.
I started by saying that all that is not required. Now, I gave a feedback session to someone yesterday, right? Just trying to take a, so I'll just show you, right? The Turnitin reports I'm showing you right now are from the old system. So I will show you the new system. So the report is slightly different, right? Same thing, but updated. So can you see, this is for this student. So I'm not showing the name here, so don't worry, but your score is good, so don't worry. So in the new Turnitin report, right? You can see here, this is a real student, so I won't show the work, but I will show the first few pages. Now, student ID, everything is there. So file size is also there. So remember, there are guidelines on file size, word count. So can you see the examiner also looks at this piece here, the word count, page count. Now another question is, now Lewie, you have said 500 words, 750 words for task 1. Then task 2, 1000. Now, right? Let's look at this 1000. Then task 3 is 1 page, 750. Right? Now, there are some of you who write under this word. Now, if you write under this word count, you will never get A grade. Never. You may pass, but you'll never get A grade. Right? So now in 500 words, some of you writing 470 words. 750 words, you write 690 words. 1000 words, you write 950 words. You'll never get A grade, because if you don't write, the examiner holds a paper on the marking scheme and then looks at your paragraphs and looks at your points. So if you don't write, the chances are you're not going to score marks. So there has to be substance. You have to write. Now, there are some questions that many of you also have, which I will address now. So I usually say write to 10 to 15% extra. 10 to 15% extra. Now, that is on the, not on the overall task. So task 1, some of you try and say, right, task 2, let's take task 2, 2000 words. No, you write 500 words here and then you write 1500. You can't do that. That is wrong. If it's 1000, then 1100 or 1200. You can't reduce from one area, and because there are marks allocated for that area. That's why that word count is required. So 1200 here. Good, balanced. 500, 550 or 600. Right? Positive marking. Examiner won't need pick. But 500 words, if you write 2000 words, what goes up? This goes up. Number of words go up. So watch this indicator on a Turnitin report. Watch this indicator on a Turnitin report, because this word counts means your appendices are there, 6-page audit is there, reference, everything is there. But then all of a sudden, if this score has gone beyond 20,000, then there is a problem. This page count has gone beyond 40, then there is a problem. But the examiner is not going to nitpick where characters are there, so you can see. So examiner won't sit and count after that saying 500 or 510 or, examiner will trust you. So that's how this Turnitin report is being looked at. So, but if you go and make now, let's say this 500, you go and write 900 here. But that's the only place you have really exceeded. Other areas you have 10%, 15% you have exceeded. Again, benefit of the doubt will be given to you, because overall is okay. But in all these areas, we have significantly increased, 100% increase, all these areas. Then the examiner will take a judgment call on this. Now, there are some world prize winning answers who have written very high word counts, but they have formatted their work to be less amount of pages with the font size, the line spacing, margin adjustments they have done. So the examiner has ended up giving them a world prize for writing more, because I can give you marks. You have written more, that means I can give you marks. I'm holding the marking sheet. But I have given you a world prize, not a A grade, world prize. You look at, analyze the world prize winning answers. That's why I sent those world prize to you all. I said, please read this, understand everything. Why have those 4 world prizes won a world prize? Read and understand. So in other words, you can write a little extra as long as when the examiner looks at things on an overall basis in the Turnitin report, that you don't see a huge excess or excess. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. So positive marking is used. Now, if I may continue this and show you the similarity score. So this is how it is. I'm not going to show you the students' work, right? So 8% is good, right? 8% is good. So you can see the top sources here, right? Okay. So basically you can see zero integrity flags for review. No suspicious text manipulations found. So there are a lot of things the examiner looks at in terms of this, right? Before starting to read your work. Now, there is no AI score here, like I told you, but some of you will get an email on AI when the Turnitin report is sent. If you have an AI problem and highlighted areas. All right. Any other questions? So, Ismail, I think I answered that question. Okay, I will send all world prices today. Integrity flag is a system generated thing that if the percentage is high, all that it will, rather than going through all that, the examiner will at once say there's a problem. The system will say there's a problem. That's the integrity flag. So it's easy for the examiner when they look at 1,000, 2,000 scripts. No. Appendix don't fall under word count. No marks for appendices. You don't get any marks for appendices. 0 marks for appendices. But if you look at the world prize winning answers, there are some appendices, but don't overuse it and let your similarities go behind. Amila, yes, you need to get the Turnitin report after the reference. Entire report that you're going to give should be submitted for Turnitin. You can't reduce anything. Good. Any other questions, guys, on Turnitin? Any questions on Turnitin? Okay, good. No, you don't have to attach the Turnitin report with the final submission. After you make the final submission from the back end, we have about 6 days to get your Turnitin reports and upload it to the system. And we will be doing that. Our team will be doing that. So the final report, we will get it. You have to only submit your work. How it works is once there is a portal, after you submit your assignment to the portal, we have to approve it from the back end. So we check your, everything. We check whether you are a student, whether you're in the booking list, any outstandings, all those things we check it, then we approve it from the back end. Okay. So it usually takes about 1 week for us to approve it from the back end. Moment we approve it, it goes to UK. Yes. Ishnika, yes. Everything needs to submit it to one final document that you're sending has to be on Turnitin. Everything. Tilan, yes, you can do the Turnitin report multiple times. When you get the second report, the first one gets deleted. When you get the third report, second one gets deleted. Any questions? All right. Clear? I hope all of you are very clear. Now, a problem that I have, of course, I don't think you are so, because now there are 60 students here. So you can see there are about 200 and odd students who are not here. So they're the ones who are outsourcing their work, right? So I don't know, I'm assuming that, because they don't bother coming for classes because they're outsourcing, right? So now the thing is, there will be a viva. If the examiner suspects outsourcing, there will be a viva. And the viva means they'll arrange a Teams call and they'll ask you questions on the assignment. So if you're not able to answer, then they'll say, sorry, this is not your work. Thank you very much. And close the Teams call. So they're very strict, right? Now, there are some students who submit their assignment in the last 3 days. No feedback. They've not got feedback. Last 3 days, you have done a brilliant assignment and submitted your work. Obvious, no? Obvious that you're not doing your work. There can be some genuine cases also, who are last minute cases. There might be also. So that's a judgment call that the examiner takes. But us tutors can look at your work and say whether this is your work or not. I mean, we have been, between the three of us, we have about 60 years of teaching experience. So when we look at your work, we know we don't even need to ask you questions, but 1 or 2 questions when we ask you. I mean, there are some students, I ask them, what are your 2 strategic options? And they have used it, but they can't tell the 2 strategic options. And that's the most highest marks, and they have put it also. Strategic options are, my strategic options are, sir, my strategic options are, sir, what's the task? No, thank you very much. So, you understand? Strategic options is a very simple question to ask. If you can't answer that, that means it's not your work. It's very simple. Understand? Should be able to say, my strategic options are this. It's very clear. Right? If you've done your work, you have written 1,000 odd words on that task. If you don't know your 2 strategic options that you have justified, I don't understand, right? So it's very clear. Then the student says, no, sir, I got some help. Please don't even tell us you got help, because you're not supposed to get help. Okay, don't even tell us. Then the students confide. There are some students who outsource their work to people. We stand on our heads and say, don't do it. And there are some students who call us and cry on the last day. Why? Because this person is not contactable. Can I have an extra day, sir? This person is not contactable, sir. I don't know what to do, sir. I'm suicidal, sir. You know, don't call us and tell us those things. We are not a counseling service, because we have clearly told you, don't cheat. Academic integrity is very, very critical. And the 3 of us won't tolerate it. Won't tolerate it. So no extensions are permitted from CIM. 0 extensions. 12 midnight UK time is, you need to know what 12 midnight UK time in Sri Lanka time is. If you get 1 minute past that, you won't be able to submit. So don't wait till the last day, last hour, last 10 minutes to submit, guys. There are some of you who do that. And then you stress the entire system. You call lecturers, you call the office, you're crying, suicidal. I mean, come on. You're doing a professional qualification. These are not babies. Right? So get your act together. Right? I'm not speaking for all of you, but these are things that happens. Now, any questions? Maximum file size and all will be sent summary by Lisa on the group. Follow the instructions. The submission guidelines will be sent to you. Any other questions on Turnitin? So my question is, don't wait till the last 3-4 days to get your final Turnitin report, because there is a huge backlog of Turnitin reports, because we usually have about 1,000 reports to clear, because there are students getting multiple number of reports who have got high rates. So, I mean, there are so many students. So please don't wait till the last moment. Of course, now those days we used to do level 4 and 6. So used to manage about 3,000 students, but now level 4 and 6, 100% online exams from last session. So only level students, 7 students are there, but still don't wait till the last moment to submit your assignment and also to get your Turnitin report and get feedback. Please discipline yourself. Finish your assignment well in advance and get 1 or 2 feedbacks. Shabir. What is TOC? I don't understand TOC. Table of contents not required. Everything else is fine. Tables of contents is not required. Plagiarized. No, I said that. Don't get anything that will get plagiarized. Only what you're going to get marks and the cow pages and the right. Okay. Right. Okay. Now I want to run to my next thing I want to show you. Now I will share this with you, okay, on WhatsApp. I will share it with you. But I want to take you through. Now, don't send me your work and call me 100 times because I read my emails almost every hour. So please respect everyone's time. Indika, myself, Prashant, all of us are doing full-time jobs and we also have a life. So don't send your assignment at 12 o'clock in the night and call us. Please understand that we are also under a lot of stress during this time. So usually for me, I don't check assignments on WhatsApp. Maybe Intikab does. He's really good in WhatsApp in checking assignments. That is his strength. Different lecturers have different this thing. So my style is I only check assignments on email and I need to have a record. Right? Record keeping for me is very important. And also I think Prashant has record keeping on email and Excel sheet. I don't maintain Excel. So therefore he might ask you to fill up Google Forms and all that. But but Intikab has all his stuff on WhatsApp. So he's brilliant in keeping records on WhatsApp. So, but I need to open it up and have a conversation with you like this and spend time. So that's my style. So respect each other's style. Don't, now I know some of you are outsourcing your assignment, you WhatsApp your assignment and say, I am in hospital, I'm in the bed, I can't talk, give me feedback. Sorry, won't be given feedback. I won't give feedback like that. I mean, if you're dying, then don't do CIM. I'm being very blunt. There are stupid, reasons like that. I'm in the hospital bed, I can't talk, give me feedback. You know why they do that? Because they don't know the assignment, they can't answer the questions. And they know when they talk to me, I spend quality time and I know they won't do their work. So they come up with things like, I am traveling now, I'm in an airport, 1 hour transit. Sorry, you go to wherever you want and call me. We have to have a conversation on your assignment. That is me. I need to spend time in your assignment and I need to read it with you. I need to ask you questions. I need to have arguments with you, right? So if you can't do that, then obviously there are many other study centers, you can join them. But I am not like that because we put a lot of energy and time and, our whole life is dedicated to what we do. So we want to do it very seriously. And we don't want to make a mockery out of it. Right? So getting feedback is a very, very important exercise and we need to do it properly. Right? So please call me, be prompt. I'm giving you a time. Okay, if you're not available at that time, I'll give you another time. But we need to spend at least 15 minutes minimum, some more than that, and have 1 or 2 discussions. Now, email your work to me only in PDF format. Don't send me Word documents. you're wasting time because then you won't get an immediate feedback session. Only PDF. Wait till I reply within 48 hours. If I don't reply within 48 hours, you can hound me on WhatsApp, call, messenger, whatever you want. But I usually don't avoid replying emails within few hours. I clear my emails 5 times a day because we at CCBM, I mean, I teach doctoral students, MBA students, degree students, CIM students, MSc students, so many CMI, all that, right? So I keep getting assignments. Every day is a deadline for me. This is my full-time job. So therefore, I check my emails often. But don't email it to me and send me a message. Please don't do that because you're wasting my time. Sir, I sent this thing, look at it. No, don't do that. Because I want to dedicate the time to look at my work and spend some quality time. If I don't reply within 48 hours, please give me a reminder. But I don't need reminders. Usually, unless I'm flying, right? I usually check my work every 2-3 hours and I will reply. And I checked also my spam also. I check my spam also every day. So it somehow gets caught. Okay. Right. So please respect each other's time. Don't WhatsApp me or even the others overly. Overly don't do it because otherwise the quality time that we spend gets reduced. Okay. So please respect that. All right. Then you have now come to the end of the session. And if you have emailed me your work, if you have emailed me your work for feedback, I will give you a lot of feedback and be ready because I'm going to give you a lot of feedback. No matter how good your assignment is, I will give you a lot of feedback. Okay. Now, it is a good time then for you to start watching all the theory videos from the beginning once. Why? Because now that you have finished the assignment, when you start watching theory videos once, you will then see that, hey, I have missed adding this theory in this question. There are many students who finish submitting the assignment in December. They will contact me and say, sir, aparade, in vain. There were 5 more theories I could have used, concepts I could have used. I watched, after the submission, I was so stressed during the submission, I didn't watch the videos again. But after that, I watched it. 5 more concepts I should have used in vain. That's what I'm telling you. Watch the syllabus theory videos once again after finishing the entire assignment. Slowly watch it. Then you will see, hey, this theory I can use here. This theory I can use in this task. And then the examiner will appreciate it because you are using the syllabus. So please take note of that. I'll send this to you, okay? Go through the course book, assessment criteria, and see whether you can add any points to the subtask. Harvard referencing, plagiarism, collusion, keep it under 10% on similarity, and watch your AI. Don't use ChatGPT, guys. AI tools cannot be used. AI score will be generated. And if you have anything mentioned there, it will be informed to you by the office. Learn from A grades, do not copy them. Some students take A grades, convert the PDF file to Word document, and start typing the assignment. You will plagiarize. Ideally, look at A grades, close the document, and type it in your own words. That's what you should do. And from the A grades, you need to look at templates, presentation. Those are things that you can learn. But the content, don't take the headings and start using it. It will get plagiarized. Carefully read now 4 GMD World Prize winner assignments. I have to update this with 2024 now, right? Be authentic, be original. This is your assignment. This is not my assignment. I am only the tutor. I will tell you what I feel, but this is your assignment. You are the main actor. You are the main actor. I am not the main actor. You are Shah Rukh Khan. Okay? I am not the main actor. So, be original, improvise, be authentic, think like a strategist. Think like a strategist. Think in your role. You're a marketing consultant to one of the world's best companies in the automotive industry. Think strategically. What does it mean to think strategically? Google that and read about it. What does it mean to think like a marketing consultant? Google and read. What is the marketing consultant's job? What is the meaning of a strategist, a futurist? You are supposed to look at 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. How will this company need to evolve? How will this industry evolve and get disrupted? What are the inflection points? What are the key trends in this industry? And how do I tell the board of directors as a consultant to be aware of these 4-5 things? That is a marketing consultant's job. Some of you think marketing consultant's job is to say, let's reduce price, let's introduce these products. Okay, those are also good, but they know how to do that. That is not strategic thinking. That is tactical, operational, day to day. Run a promotion, do these basic things. Those are not strategic things. Strategic things are game changers. System change කියන්නේ ඒකට තමයි. Strategic things. Think strategically. Think in your role as a marketing consultant. When the examiner reads your work, examiner needs to see that. Interconnect your tasks. Your task 1A must be connected to 1B, 1B and 1A must be connected to 2A, like that. So all your 4 tasks in the 4th case study must be interconnected. All the 3 subtasks in task 3 must be interconnected. Wider reading, industry reports, Deloitte, McKinsey, KPMG, don't stop reading. I have shared many, but there's so much of literature and reports out there that you can borrow from. You can watch videos, YouTube's, limitless possibilities. There are some students who go to YouTube and type futurist speaking on the automotive industry. Just keywords like that. Then you'll see experts who have worked in the auto industry for 50 plus years, consultants who are talking. So that is your answer. Maybe it's a program recorded in a world auto conference in Paris, so I don't know wherever. Then you need to listen to that. You can pick 5 points from that and put it somewhere in your assignment. Automatically, then when the moment you read, examiner read that, wow, this student is thinking like a futurist. All you did was watch a YouTube video. So those are the things you need to do now. Be smart. Common sense. Common sense is not very common. So don't stop reading. Don't stop digging. If you want to win a world prize, some of you, when you send me your work for feedback, I ask you, the first question I ask you is, what is the grade you want? Sir, I want A grade. Then why haven't you not even aligned your margins? How do you want A grade without even aligning your margins and put in the subtask-wise word count on the task cover page? So you might want world prices, but you have not done the basic things. So if you don't do the basic things, I can't take you to do greater things. So it's important that you get your fundamentals right. Right? Get someone to proofread your assignment if you think your grammar is bad, but you won't get penalized for bad grammar. You won't get penalized. But if the examiner can't understand your English, you'll get penalized. So it's positive marking, right? But it's always good to get someone to proofread your work. Don't use Grammarly and all that, avoiding. Few mistakes here and there is good. The examiner will know that you are done it. Right? Right? So few grammar mistakes are okay. Don't worry. Right? Then back up your work, guys. This is the time that you all should be, every time you work on your assignment, email it to yourself as soon as you finish. Don't just close the laptop and go, because the laptop can crash. Email you can access from another device. Please back up your work. Find insights. Use charts, graphs, tables, numbers. Many of you don't use charts and graphs in your answers. Some of you overdo charts and graphs. That's also a problem. Like one task, you will use 3 charts. No, 1 chart is enough. 1 point. But use charts, graphs. Some of you only use line graphs. No. Bar charts, line graphs, pie charts, histograms, component bar charts, multiple line graphs. Use a variety, but everything must be drawn. No cutting and pasting from Deloitte, McKinsey, KPMG. You have to draw everything. And when you draw, it doesn't need to 100% look like what is there. But you can cite Deloitte, McKinsey, KPMG, no problem. But draw them so that there's consistency in all your charts and graphs. And those are things that if you don't have the skill, you can go to your company, sit down with someone in the accounts department and do it. That's not outsourcing, okay? That is, you have told them what to do when they are doing it. That's not outsourcing. That is you getting help on drawing charts and graphs by giving them the data. So that's not outsourcing. So you can get help in a lot of areas. Someone to proofread your work. After you finish your entire assignment, someone senior in a company who will read it and think strategically. Those are things that you can get help on, but don't outsource your entire assignment. Right? And that's how you improve. You have to leverage wherever you can. Carefully design attractive cover pages. Very, very important. The sizzle matters in CIM. Right? Include the subtask-wise word count in the task cover page. Include the genuine word count. If you have written extra, that's okay, mention it. If you have written 900 words, don't say 720 words. That's not nice. The examiner is not stupid. That's okay, you write 920 words. It's okay. Right? But every single task don't have exceeded by 40-50% subtask. That's a problem. So you can exceed in some areas. 10%, 15% exceed in all areas are fine. Beyond that, don't exceed in all areas. Certainly not reduce work. Use wide margins in the strategic audit and task 3A. Times New Roman will give you a lot of space. As a font, it gives you a lot of space. To reduce the page count, font size 9 will give you a lot of space for tables and 11 or 10 for non-tables. Eliminate white space in your strategic audit. Format your work properly. Some of you forget to use scenario planning under the pest analysis. Scenario planning must come under the pest analysis. You can't separate pest and scenario. It must come under the pest analysis. Use paragraphs and or tables when answering the questions. Do not write bullets. Some of you use bullets and then write paragraphs. Don't write bullets. Bullets are bullet points and numbers are also bullets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Examiner calls bullets laundry lists. Don't include laundry lists in your answer. Either paragraph or table Inside the table, if you want to write bullets, you can write bullets. I need to see a clear introduction, a body with subheadings, and a conclusion for every subtask. Don't forget that. Some of you have forgotten that. Because you need to conclude your answer. And when you're concluding your answer, I've given you some points to talk about. Look at the A grades. Some of you look at 1 A grade. Now, if you have finished your work, questions like CSR, questions like the international market entry strategies, those questions you can keep improving. Why? Now, I see in this CSR question, some of you have written a good job, okay, done a good job by looking at a 1 A grade answer. No, but then in the CSR question, I have given you some CSR terminology, sustainability terminology. I've given you Gemma Butler's book, Carlville book on sustainable marketing. And there are concepts there like the carbon literacy project, greenwashing, ESG, UN SGDs. Then you have, a lot of other concepts like triple bottom line, the CSR pyramid, and the list goes on. Okay. So you have to go through that list I've given you and see whether you have used this terminology in the answer. Because sometimes when I look at the answer, you've done a good job, but there is no terminology. Remember, you're doing a British exam. Sustainability is a very huge concept in Britain. So they know, when the average salesperson knows a lot about sustainability. So you need to use those terminology, of course, in the correct context. And there's no end to it. The more you read, the more terms you can use. ISO 14001, regenerative economy. There are so many ideas like that. And then you can, some of you have not done it, you can put them in bold. And those become like stars. When you read the answer, wow, there are 15 things in bold. And my God, all the theories are coming up. But no definitions, practically applied to the answer. That's a World Prize winning answer. Right? I don't know I've included here, but before I forget, critical evaluation. I've put it here. Don't write appreciating. You have to be critical. In other words, when I read your answer, it should sound like you're scolding the company. Read the A grade answers. That is when you're adding value as a consultant to the board of directors. When it sounds like you're shouting at the company. That is critical evaluation. You will definitely get an A grade and win a prize if you master this only thing, critical evaluation. Understand what it is. Read the A grade answers and read the World Prize winning answers to understand what critical evaluation is, because many of you are not critical evaluating, you are critically appreciating the company. And you think because you have written the word count, you've done a great job. And it's in the nice format that you have copied from A grade answer, but no, you're not critically evaluating. Be critical. Right? That is very, very important. Page numbers, some of you forget that. Follow the CIM specified headers and footers. Table of contents, executive summaries not required. Command words, you can check the meaning of it, of all the command words in each task. There is a meaning, but critical evaluation is very important. Each answer needs to have a structure. I spoke of that. Use subtle colors in your assignment. Some of your assignments remind me of Vesak kind of feeling. Right? Bombay Mutai colors are there. Entire rainbow is there. No, you have to have one color scheme. And it has to be very easy on the eye. Present your work in a professional manner. You can use a lot of color. Check the A grade, check the world price winners. That's the idea. Check the world price, how nicely it is presented. A great assignment with poor presentation, you still won't get a world prize. But a reasonably okay assignment with great presentation, the chances are higher for you to get a world prize. So it is the psychology of the exam, how you present your work. Very important. Bold keyword points, key points and words. Do not outsource. Congenial, undertaken, high quality presentation, formatting. Request someone to proofread your grammar, sentence structure. Don't use these downloaded images, emojis, charts and graphs. Draw everything. The theory diagrams that you use can't be a cut and paste from a book. You have to draw it and contextualize it. Apply the company inside the diagram. You can't have a cut and paste, say, here's the picture of the triple bottom line. That is not work that you send to the board of directors. You have to contextualize. Start and finish all audit tools in the same page. Now, many of you forget this. Half of your pastille is in one page, other half is in another page. Don't do that, guys. Please make note of this. Start and finish all your audit tools in the same page. So you can push it up and down to find that space. Start all subtasks in a new page. You can also exclude word count for headings. No problem. Don't write under word count. Please note you are required to get a minimum of 1 feedback sessions. You have to get at least 1 feedback session.
Excuse me, sir. Can we exclude author's name? I mean, in text citations.
I mean, that's why I've asked you to write 15% extra, 10 to 15% extra. So again, it's a judgment call. Examiner is not going to nitpick. So I've told you can to answer your question, right? But try and stay with all that 15% extra per subtask. Because the examiner won't sit and count words. The examiner, when the turn report comes, will look at your characters, number of characters, number of word count from there. And if there's something wrong, the page count, characters, and word count, then the examiner will start counting. Got it? Okay. Avoid waiting till the last few days. Right? Because last few days, my diary gets booked. I do about 20, 30 assignment feedback sessions a day. So I'm also a human being. Last 2 days, I can't do 100. So don't wait till that time. Then obviously I can't spend half an hour with you. Okay. So that is what I want to share with you. One more thing I want to tell you is, I will share this document with you. Now, there can be some level of, now students have finished their, if you have finished your work, okay, don't worry about this if you have not finished your work. First of all, any questions? Any other questions? There are some questions. In-text references will get counted, Tanya.
Thank you, sir.
Ismail, you have a question? Okay, you can ask whatever you have.
Sir, this is relating to task 3 of the assignment. Is it okay to ask it now or after?
Yes.
Okay, sir. So in task 3A, they're asking about the key environmental factors impacting the future of your chosen organization.
Yes.
For that, in the pestle analysis, does it need like how should the pestle analysis be? So I was watching the recordings and it was not clear enough for me, sir.
Task 3, you don't need to do a pestle analysis.
No, the key environmental factors, like
That's
when
in
I'm
the
talking about-
organization summary, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, don't do entire pest. So just very simply talk about what are the 4, 5 main drivers in the political environment. Now, what is your company?
Sir, I choose Ceylon Cold Stores.
Yeah, no, Ceylon, think within the industry.
Yeah.
qualify about the 5 factors. Number 1, you're an export-oriented company. So exchange rate risk might impact you, right? That's for the economic environment. Then there can be things like political stability, legal environment issues can be there on packaging, labeling, SLS, all those issues are there. So just take 4 or 5 factors like that and put it in a table and explain. That's what is expected. Don't do entire pistil. You don't have space to do a pistil.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Shabir, yeah, KPMG, Deloitte, all the everything. Don't cut and paste. So you can do it now, but then before you submit, you have to draw everything so that there's consistency in all your charts and graphs and everything. Right? Yes, draw it from scratch, correct. Right? Cutting and pasting has no joy. You have to draw everything. You're doing a professional qualification. Huh? Okay. So, but you don't need to do it now. Okay. You can send your work to me, get feedback, and finally you can put those bells and whistles. Okay. Now I want to tell you something. Please pay attention. Now, it is not mandatory that you do this. It is not mandatory that you do this. Because for appendices, you don't get marks. For appendices, you don't get marks. I repeat that. For appendices, you don't get marks. Now in CEC, I know many of you do SM, lot of at CDC also. Lot of appendices you do because you don't have a strategic audit there. No? You don't have a strategic audit there. Here you have 6-page strategic audit for the case study. So if you go and do a lot of appendices after the strategic audit also, because even the strategic audit, you won't get marks. Because how you use the strategic audit work in the tasks is what you get marks. So it's very clear appendices don't carry any marks. So the more appendices you use, your percentage of similarity on Turnitin goes up. So be careful in what you do. Especially don't just dump annual report stuff there. All those will get plagiarized. Also, be mindful of the number of pages you use because beyond the point, examiner will feel suspicious of your word count because of the number of pages you use. Now, let's say all of you have finished your assignment. Now, I want to give you 3 tools that you can use, maybe one of these tools. Don't use all 3 strategy tools. Okay, and I'm not going to teach you these tools. I'll send you the slides. It's self-explained, but I'll basically take you through. One is the value proposition canvas. So you can do a value proposition canvas for Ford, right? Now you can either do a value proposition canvas or you can do a business canvas, business model canvas, right? So this is a business model canvas. Value proposition canvas is in there. Now, no marks for this. If you don't want to do it, don't worry. Don't worry, right? So if you look at A grade answers, except for the strategic audit, world prize winning answers, except for the strategic audit, no other appendices are done, right? Maybe 1 or 2 exceptions are there in A grades, but you can check. But be careful because you are doing a case study. Unlike CDC and CEC, you're doing a case study. So they are alone. All of you are working on the same company, right? But read about the value proposition canvas. If you want to do a value proposition canvas, which talks about 3 factors in the value proposition, the products and services, pain relievers to customers, gain creators to customers, and then the customer segments profile. What are the jobs that the customer wants to get done? What are the gains? What are the pains of customers? And in the center, these 2 arrows are there here to understand how you have a fit between the value proposition that the company sends out versus what the customer wants. That is the value proposition canvas. So I've given you a detail here and I've given you some examples. What do you mean by customer jobs? What do you mean by pains of the customers? What do you mean by gains of the customers? Right? And again, customer jobs to be done can be functional jobs to be done, social jobs to be done, emotional jobs to be done. And on this side, you have the value proposition, what the company offers. Customer profile is what the customer wants. So it should fit, it should match with the value proposition the company is giving. So the value proposition, the value map will have pain relievers, products and services, right? And it will have gain creators. Okay. Now, here's an example of how it is done. You have to create a fit between the value proposition and the customer desire. You achieve a fit by creating a clear connection between what matters to customers and how your products and service features ease pains and create gains. A great value proposition propositions target essential customer jobs, pains and gains, and do so extremely well. So in other words, you can, if you want to, it's not mandatory. I repeat this, it's not mandatory. There is no question on this. But if you want to show off to the examiner in one slide, you can do a value proposition canvas for Ford and show how you can use gain creators to create, right, your value proposition. You can match it with the customer's expectations like this. So you can, some of you are really good in, you know, all these graphics, right, that you all use. So if you want to show off to the examiner, now here's a Tesla value proposition canvas. You can even show that there is a fit or there is no fit because there is a problem. This company has an issue. They are not market leaders throughout the world for a reason. North America, they are, but outside that, they are struggling. Japanese companies, other American brands, German brands are doing really well. So there is a problem. So one problem is their value proposition. That's why I thought I'll take you through this. Customers are demanding for one thing. Our value proposition needs to be fixed. This is a consultancy piece of work. So you can identify gaps and use them in, especially in task 2. If you do a value proposition canvas, but don't put this in the audit, you don't have space for it. It's not in your syllabus as well. Okay. So here's another example for Airbnb where you can also show that your value proposition matches or does not match with the customer segments requirements. Okay. So I took one from the car industry. Maybe you can Google to see whether there is one for Ford also, but don't cut and paste it. Right. Now, the extension of the value proposition map. Can you see the value proposition map here? This is what the customer wants, and this is what the value proposition that the company delivers. So the business model canvas has more factors. Outstanding value propositions can still fail if your business model is flawed. So 2 things. Remember this very carefully, guys. As a marketing consultant, you're not a financial consultant, you're not an IT consultant, you're a marketing strategist. At the heart of marketing is what is the value proposition you provide and how is it received by your target audience. But you can have a great value proposition, but if your business model is flawed, that means your value proposition must be in line with your other factors in the business model canvas. So you can, if you want to do another appendix and do a comprehensive business model canvas, I have given you an explanation here. So then you can reach a conclusion that you not only have a problem with your value proposition, you also have a problem with your business model. And you can use that in your tasks, especially in task 2. So you should not only fix your value proposition in some areas, you should also fix your business model in some areas. There are some revenue streams that Toyota has that you don't have. What are your cost structures mentioned in the case study? What are your resources, key activities, competencies, key partners, channels, customer relationships? What do you need to fix? Maybe perhaps you can put the ones that need fixable in red color and the others in black color. It's very clear to the exam. So this is not in your syllabus, but if you want to include it, if your Turnitin scores are less, if you want to show off to the examiner, if you feel you are overdoing it in your page count, don't do this. But some of you can impress the examiner and use this in task 2 by doing a value proposition canvas, and in another page doing a business model canvas. Don't just do it and not use it. If you do it, you have to use it and show that you have a problem that needs to be fixed in your business model and a problem that needs to be fixed in your value proposition. But it is not mandatory. Don't stress over it. Don't stress over it, right? So here's an example for Apple's business model canvas. Simple. Here's the Starbucks business model canvas. If you want to do it, you can do it. You can highlight some areas and some others. You can say you need to improve, and some areas you're doing well. But all of you don't go and use the business model canvas and value proposition canvas. I'm giving you another 2 tools. So I don't want all of you to use the same thing. Then the examiner knows this tutor has told them to do this. That's why they're doing it. Right? Another tool that talks about strategy. Another important tool that talks about strategy is Porter's activity mapping. Now, if you read my book, this is from my book, I have given an activity map for IKEA, right? So if you read through activity mapping, it's one of my favorite theories that helps you illustrate the company's strategy using what you call core activities and support activities. So all the competencies the company is good at are highlighted in these circles. So you can see the dark blue ones are the critical competencies, which are helped by the other light blue ones. So it's like the value chain. Value chain is also from Porter. Value chain can also show differentiation and cost leadership. But activity mapping is the value chain put very simply with the complexities, without the complexities of the value chain. So this is directly from my book. I have given you 2 examples of activity maps. Some may call these mind maps, but it's not a mind map. It's the theoretical word is called an activity map. That's the Michael Porter theory in his book, activity map. So this is the activity map for Southwest Airlines. Activity map for Southwest Airlines. Right? So you can quote Porter, and it's a nice thing that consultants do to understand the competency linkages. The competency linkages in the organization. And then if you want to, you can go a step further and study the activity map of a company like Toyota, which are market leaders, and add some areas in red here. You can add some areas, activities in red, that perhaps Ford need to start doing by benchmarking Toyota or Mercedes or someone else, or Volkswagen or someone else. So strategically, then you're showing what you're really good at. It is in blue, dark blue. The interconnecting ones that help deliver the dark blue ones are in light blue, and the ones you don't do that your competitors are doing are in red. What a wonderful illustration of strategy. Simplified. And this will help you articulate your thoughts in task 2A when you're doing strategic options. So here's another theory. Please don't use all the theories I'm giving you. Pick and choose what you want to use, or if you want to use any at all. Okay? Because they are not in your syllabus, nor are they given marks. It's just to show off. Okay? Sometimes it is good to show off theory. Okay? Then I'm going to give you one last theory. This theory is on developing a strategy canvas using blue ocean strategies. So you have red oceans and blue oceans. Please read up. This is also from my book, right? How do you deliver what we call a quantum leap in value innovation? It's one of the best books that have been sold in management in the world. Of course, there are a lot of criticisms about it as well, but there's a lot of learning. So companies need to move away from the bloody red oceans to the blue oceans and find their own value proposition. That's the game changer we are talking about, blue ocean. And I give you here an example, right, of the US wine industry, how they created a blue ocean strategy. This company created a blue ocean strategy. This company is called Yellowtail. So you can read my book. If you want to use this, you can watch some videos and learn. So I'm not going to teach you this theory because it's not in your syllabus, but it is another tool that you can use. After you finish, you can do what we call a 4 actions framework. 4 actions framework, right? So some of you are familiar with it already. You have read the blue ocean strategies. If so, you can do this. Otherwise, you can do activity mapping. Otherwise, you can do value proposition canvas and business model canvas to show off to the examiner. But be mindful of the page count. Be mindful about the plagiarism percentage. And be mindful that appendices don't carry marks. So if you're not comfortable, don't use it. But if you want to, you can. That's the beauty of CIM. There is no one best way to answer. There is no one best way to answer. Any questions? Anything to clarify? One thing that some of these appendices might do is show the examiner that you are thinking like a marketing consultant. That's an advantage. And you are brave to do that. But it must be fairly comprehensive, whatever you do. Any questions? All right. Thank you very much. If you have no questions, good night. I'll see you in the one-to-one sessions tonight. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.